Welcome to Mary's Cooking Biscuits or cookies. It really depends on what you call them. I want to call them cookies, but I feel that the Australians out there are probably going to judge me, so let's call them biscuits. You won, okay? So this edition of Mary's Cooking is made with the children folk in mind. That's right, so many of you have been letting me know that your kids have been getting in the kitchen with you after watching the show, which is great. I love to be inspiring. I love to shape young minds. That's actually really hot. Anyway, we're going to make some biscuits. It's going to be fabulous. Your children folk are going to love making this one. So, run and get them. Go on. I'll wait. This is what you're going to need. 250 grams of butter. Soft butter. Room temperature butter. This won't work if you pull it straight out of the fridge. You've got to be a little bit ahead of time on that. Sugar, both brown and white. 1 cup of each, please. 2 eggs. This cheeky little sasspuss. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 2 cups of plain flour. 1 1/4 cups of self-raising flour. I've got some mini Smarties. These are the ones from the cooking aisle that don't lose their colour when you bake them, but you can use any kind of thing you like to decorate. For the grown-ups, I'm going to add in some white chocolate, some dark chocolate, and some cheeky little nutters. Walnuts. Okay, now it's really important that you do this step first because this is the way you do it. You're going to need to take your lovely soft butter and add it to a bowl. And you're going to then add both of your sugars, 1 and 2. Beautiful. And you're going to give them a good little whiz. This is called creaming the butter and the sugar. That's some terminology right there. I'm going to add in my eggs. I'm beginning to think I should have used a bigger bowl, but I'm adding in my eggs just so that I can make that butter and sugar cream together a little bit better. 2 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla. Make sure you measure it very carefully. Ooh, delicious. All right, here we go. I hate to stop it right there, but I'm telling you now, if you've got children folk with you right now, they should be doing this bit. Come on, kids. Make sure you let the kids crack the eggs. It's the best part. Okay, the butter, the sugars, the eggs and the vanilla are all creamed together just beautifully. And now we're going to start adding in our flour. I'm going to add half each. So half of the plain flour and half of the self-raising flour. And keep mixing. Oh my word, I really needed a bigger bowl. Anyway, keep going. It's time for some truth. I need a bigger bowl. I felt that I needed a bigger bowl, and I need a bigger bowl. I'd like you to just look away for a minute while I transfer to a bigger bowl, and I'd like you to forget this part ever happened. Kids, if you're watching at home, you need to understand that though I may look perfect, I do make mistakes. Alrighty, I fixed up my little bowl mishap. And now I'm going to add a little bit more flour. Now the reason why I'm adding it a little bit at a time is for some reason, sometimes this recipe feels a little bit drier than others. And I want it a little bit drier than it is now, but I don't want it too dry. So I'm just adding a little bit of the extra flour in. feeders have a mind of their own. I have flung cookie dough all over the place. Now, I just meant to tell you this before, that this dough is not like a choc chip cookie dough where it's really wet and you sort of slop it on, which not all choc chip cookie doughs are like that. This is more of a one that you can roll up into balls, and it will spread and make these humongous, delicious big cookies or biscuits. All right, I'm actually going to use my fingers just to pull the rest of this all together. So just using hands to knead through the rest of that, remembering that we continuously wash our hands in the kitchen because nobody wants to have a COVID cookie. All right, beautiful. I'm so pleased with that. That's actually a really good texture. So what I'm going to do is actually split that dough into about half. There you go. Now this cookie dough is very good for freezing. So if you think you're probably not going to eat that many cookies in one day, then freeze half of your mixture. And you can even freeze it in like a nice little roll like that so that you could just chop off your little cookies. Super cool. I'm splitting it in half because I'm going to do half really brightly coloured Smarty Guys and half I'm going to add in some more ingredients. So this one I'm going to use to make my lovely kid-friendly, happy face, bright coloured cookies. So put those guys over there and we'll do that later. And I'm telling you now, that's the most funnest bit. Apart from cracking eggs, that's got to be the bit that the kids love. And then I'm going to make the lovely extra flavours in this one. So I'm going to add some dark chocolate chips. Obviously don't need too many. And some white chocolate chips. And I'm choosing these flavours simply because that's what I've got in my cupboard. And then I've got some walnuts. And I'm just going to chop those walnuts up a little bit. If you like, you could press them into the top and have whole walnuts, which always look nice too. But I think it's sometimes nice when you're eating a cookie to find a little treasure hidden deep within the cookie. And let me tell you now, and this is just a personal view, but I believe that sultanas and raisins have no place in cookies, and they only exist to bring heartache and sadness to people. Is there anything sadder than biting into what you thought was a choc chip cookie only to find it was sultanas? All right, a few more nuts and then we'll chuck that in. I might take this moment while I'm chopping nuts to tell you about some young viewers who have been getting inspired in the kitchen lately, and today they get our shout out, especially Jesse, the eldest of this set of three brothers. He has been really getting into the show and enjoying it, and some of his mum's food has already been featured. Pammy be her name. But anyway, shout out to you, Jesse, and to your brothers Jackson and Finney. I hope that you make these cookies for your mummy. All right, into this bowl I'm going to chop that lovely little mix of walnuts. And if you wanted to, you could put in, you know, a little bit of coffee or some caramel syrup or whatever you like. But remembering that actually the brown sugar and the vanilla and the butter, it's just a beautiful, yummy, delicious combination. You don't need to add much to it at all. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't forget to turn on your oven. Goodness me, 180, which is known as a moderate oven. I have two lovely pink baking trays here, and I am going to show you what I would do and what size biscuits I would make. So I like these guys to be huge, big, decadent biscuits. Something around the realms of about this much. And you don't want more than two sitting next to each other on a tray like this. So I would put it on like that and then slightly push down like that. And then I'm going to take my cute little thingies, and this one, why don't we give him a bit of a cheeky grin. That is a grin that says, I'm going to keep you up for hours on a sugar high. I don't know about you, but my mum let me cook and bake alongside her quite a lot when I was growing up, and I appreciate that. So if you're tempted to do it all yourself, I say let the rugrats in. While I'm doing this, you might like to see what some other people have been making at home. Come on people, get inspired. Here's a hot tip. If you're putting nuts in something, it's always worthwhile putting one on top so people get the warning, just in case they're a bit allergic. Now this little guy in the corner, he's my Mary friendly one. I've made him in line with my own allergies. He's the only one that's Mary friendly because I've got to do a taste test, but the rest of the biscuits, they're for everyone else. All right, into the oven, should we? We're going to get those out of the oven in a little while. Until then, you can roll your other ones up ready to go. And do your washing up. That's always a good thing to do. Suddenly the kids scatter. Washing up, what? Oh, the aria of the perfect cookie. Look at them go. It's very nice, very cool. See how with those little M&Ms that are especially for baking, they don't lose their colour? If you use normal, they're actually Smarties. If you use normal Smarties, they will fade and they'll sort of crack, but they still taste delicious. So use what you have. If you've got one of those lovely wire cooling racks, then you should wait a few minutes for your biscuits to cool down a little bit, because when they're straight out of the oven, they are obviously going to just fall apart. Once they've cooled down a little bit, you can transfer them onto your cooling rack. I presently don't have a cooling rack. I've ordered some in online on the interwebs, on the World Wide Web net, but they haven't arrived yet. So we wait. These guys look so deliciously decadent. Look at them go. And these guys just look like fun in a biscuit. If you are doing a large batch of biscuits or you're doing a lot of baking and you're going to be using the same kind of trays, don't keep getting out more paper. Just use the same one over and over. There's no reason why you shouldn't. All right, is it time to taste? I think it's time to taste. I'm going to break him open. Oh, the glory. I really need a glass of milk. Lactose-free milk. Oh. What kind of an animal do you take me for? Yeah. This is good. Honestly, put whatever flavours you want in there. Chop up Mars bars, cherry ripes, any of those things. Put it on, put it in, get it in ya. Oh, so good.